Tippy time, my Damie, Top Cat here, and welcome back to the channel. Today's vid is the last in a series of 5 vids looking at the different subclasses and elements inside Onslaught. Today we are looking at Void, but I'll leave links to my other vids for Arc, Solar, Strand and Stasis in the end of this video. And there will be dim links for all my Void, Warlock, Titan and Hunter builds in the description below. Void was an absolute breath of fresh air, and despite not being featured in the artifact, Area of Effect perk Volatile synergizes perfectly with Unravel. And despite the nerf to Devour, its dominance in here is absolutely S tier. First up to bat, our Voidlock, and I'm using the Felwinter's Helm. Its perk, Warlord's End, creates a burst of weakening energy when we get a powered melee kill, or, and more importantly, when using our finishes. The chunkier the target, the bigger the blast, and the longer this effect will last. I've chosen this helmet as this is no regular weaken effect. This is 30%, on level with the tether and the tractor cannon. Yet all I need to do is pluck out one of the many targets at death's door to affect all around it. And with Echo Cessation, it goes even further. These finishes also puke out Volatile to make them even easier to one-bang. They can chain off of each other, and when we defeat them, they drop Volatile breaches. With Expulsion, our Void ability final blows will explode to further trigger our death chain. And with Obscurity, each time we finish, we go invisible, so we can safely find our next victim to pluck out from the shadows to further subdue the Onslaught forces. Proximity Ward gives us a powerful overshield, so in that brief moment they can see you, they can't do nothing about it. Feed the Void is unequivocally the Voidlock's strongest asset. Firstly, this gives us Devour on the back of any ability kill. This heals off the back of kills for 10 seconds. Get a kill in that window and we can continue to chain it. However, don't rely on your melee to do this, it's utility only. Instead, grenades will be your wingman. This is just as well, as whilst we do have Devour, we have increased grenade uptime. And with Echo of Starvation, anytime we pick up an Orb of Power or a Void Breach, we get that Devour. Our Echo Cessation makes us breaches off the back of our finishes, so we don't even need a multi-kill or ability kill to start that chain if we don't want to. All we need to do is look for that gold Hindu dot and we are off to the races. For my second aspect, I like Child of the Old Gods, but if you prefer the other, that's fine too. I just prefer this as we shoot it out, generally at the start of a wave to slow the impending hordes. This applies that standard weaken effect. I bounce up in there to literally finish up those table scraps. I like running the healing rift to help out my allies, and whilst this child is draining them, I'm gaining melee and nade energy. I highly recommend running the blink jump for this build. Whenever a target is ready to be finished off, you need to be right in there before your allies grab lance particles, just tear through their battlefield. Yes, Ares, talking about you. This jump allows you to pounce on that shit like a virgin at a toga party. Touch of Malice, it's filthy strong. It might try and catch you, but this emo scout just absolutely slashes at the enemy even faster. This scout can stack up that damage by 560% through the use of its final round and its blight perk. I found this drop adds stupidly quick at wave 50, and its blight function also blinds waves of ads better than any breachload GL. And it can stun Onslaught too. I used a Nova together with this scout and the Felwinter's Volatile and weakened debuff loop. Ad clear is sorted. So Nova all day, and those fat yellows on 5s and 9s and 50s go gone burgers. Pause here for my mods and stats, but there will be a dim link in the description below. Next up we had the Glitter Ball. This Titan is using the Doomfang Pauldrons. These had recently been reworked whilst keeping all its original charm intact. This grants us tons of melees, weapon damage bonuses, and supers till the cows come home. Our Sentinel Shield offers us defense and offense, and we can use it against yellows, mages, and miners. With the Doompangs, when we kill with Void from any source, we get a Void Surge. So no need for any mods on our boots. This can stack up past those to a tier 4 25% weapon surge that chains. And we can go straight to that tier 4 surge with a melee kill. And again, our melee kills grant us additional super energy. This roamer can go over 30 seconds. Just combo between your throws and your shield bashes to extend. I use Echo of Instability when defeating targets with our grenades. This is going to grant our Void weapons volatile rounds. Any Void weapon will be absolutely nuts with this build, but I've actually chosen the underutilized Collective Obligation. This thing absorbs Void debuffs from targets so we can apply them later down the line at our leisure. Now shooting either volatile, weaken, or suppression out there, we can slow that horde right the F down and our tier 4 surge will melt faces. I generally lead out with my melee so I can get that surge up and gain suppression or volatile. I make orbs with melees, I use a double melee kickstarter, so we are always ready to start this chain. And whilst we're in the trenches, orbs of power will reduce my melee cooldown and finishes will top my melee back up. Definitely use the bash, it's deadlier and no one likes a tosser. With leeching, our melee final blows will start health regeneration, not just for you, but also for your buddy. Controlled demolition is anything but. It's great diarrhea. And it's applied by all of our abilities, super included. And when something starts exploding, you and your allies are healed. It's like boxing with penicillin. I like the vortex, but whatever you like, it's all good. Expulsion spreads that shit like you've been scratching at it, making more and more perps. Starvation gives us Devour, it's just good healthcare. We use Bastion for its overshields. This will make your melees hit harder. This build is butter with a good shoddy. I highly recommend using the Swordbreaker. It's got Pugilist to help my melee uptime, and it's got great damage perks. It's Strand 2, and we can maximize that Strand Trinity. Get those unraveled particles all mixed up with their weakened suppression and volatile. This glitter ball is a recipe for destruction. Make sure to pause here for my artifact, build stats and mods. There is a dim link in the description below. Last up is our Hunter. Now the hands down obvious choice is Orpheus Riggs Hunter using the Grab Lance, but if you want a little more damage, I got something a little bit different for you. It's got a little bit of the norm, but yeah, it really is a little bit left field. The Mobius Quiver shoots out 2 volleys, delivering actual damage whilst also weakening. If you shoot out a volley, you can do a good 12 seconds of weapon damage before you have to fire out that second volley. The Star Eater Scales will supersize our damage. We need to have collected 4 Orbs of Power, and this will give us that Mega Super. When collecting Orbs of Power, you can gain additional super energy from them. This way we can shoot out this volley nearly as often as the O-Riggers. And this super heals and grants us overshields on activation. I utilize Reprisal to again boost our super uptime. We just gotta get in there nice and close to the action. The thicker the shit, the better it's rewarded. Using Ashes to Assets will also be a powerful tool in this regards. Grenade kills will boost our super cooldown. Vortex Grenade is easily the best option here. That suck effect will earn you the most bang for your buck. Now, this is where the build takes a bit of a weird turn. I'm using the Salvation's Grip. Its damage is actually good these days. After the spike nerf and all the other nades getting buffed up, the exotic GLs got super good. And this stasis GL is no joke. We've also got that stasis trinity in the artifact. This makes for some powerful area of effect, combating even the strongest of overloads and unstops, and hordes of miners and mages. When running the Stasis Hunter, I could use that Shadow Dive aspect to break these crystal formations. Turns out, our sneaky little Void Hunter's got a few extra tricks in its bag. Using the Trapper's Ambush aspect, I activate Quickfall to spend my melee charge and dive into the ground, dropping a cloud of smoke. This breaks the crystals, any survivors are weakened, and we gain invisibility. To maximize this uptime, we can use the Gambler's Dodge, giving us another melee charge to go again. Our mod rotation utilizes the utility Kickstarter for a nice easy 10-second dodge. Use Firepower and Reaper to make us orbs, and Powerful Attraction collects them on our dodges. Our secondary rotation charges us from Void Breaches. Restoration tops up our lowest ability with some bonus melee cooldown thrown in there. We can focus so much on our ability regeneration as Echo of Starvation grants us Devour on all pickup and Void Breaches. This is required as we are getting right up in the enemy's faces to both shatter and debuff them. Enemies are often left one shot, so when using Obscurity, we can go invis on those finisher kills. And with Stylish Executioner, anytime we get a kill on a weakened target, we go invis and we get True Sight so we can find our next victim from the shadows. I would recommend using Echo of Vigilance, as whilst this is really rewarding, it's quite the ballsy play. This will give us an overshield when we are at death's door. With both Void and Stasis in there, let's get a little green. I'm still using that Sword Breaker, up close and personal is our game. This makes us both Unravel Particles and Threadlings, mixing up that Void game. We ain't stopping there either. Use your favorite solar energy primary weapon so we can buff both our Stasis and our Strand Chaos whilst being Radiant. Feel free to pause here for all my armor stats and mods. There will be a dim link in the description below. Void has been an absolute surprise, but it has the ability to chain debuffs and keep you alive better than any other subclass. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you like the Touch of Malice as much as I do? What raid exotic are you looking for in that new Gauntlet mode? Make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.